couldn't have been any better
Well,
for
it could
you.
have been a little
Well,
less stressful, but yeah,
well,
it was a good
yeah.
night.
Well, this will be all we'll say about it. Heck of a ball game. Heck of a ball game. The top two teams went at it. That's all I can say, man.
Absolutely,
It
and
it, it,
officially,
it was right this year.
that
It
might
was
be all
right this
you
year.
say about it, but I'm going to throw in a few roll tides.
That's okay. That's okay. And for every roll tide, I'll say go Tigers, and I look forward to doing it again
There
next
you
year.
go. Yeah,
So we're gonna
because
go
you
ahead and
guys
call
are
our
going to be
shot.
back. You guys are going to be back strong.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun. Either way, heck of a year. Congratulations to all the Alabama fans, because there are apparently 1,000 on my Facebook. Because I saw Roll Tides all day long, but it was good. It was a good fun time. But anyways, um, so yeah, as per usual, I'll go through the rankings, AFC and NFC. We'll recap our picks last week. Of course, we had one game get moved, so only three games counted toward our picks, and the game that got moved was one that we differed on. So
Yep.
we all were correct across the board in terms of our picks, so we all got 3 wins on that one. A few surprising outcomes, not necessarily in terms of the winner, but margin of victory was huge this past weekend. So in the AFC, things kind of stack up like this: Titans on top at 9-1, Mustangs 8-1, Raiders 5-4, Bulldogs 5-5, Huskies 2-7, and the Cobras at 1-9. In the NFC, the Seahawks 9-0, the Warriors 9-2, Cowboys are 5-6, the Patriots are 3-6, and the Broncos are 1-8. So we'll roll through, give the specific outcomes, and then we'll chat about them a little bit. On Friday, we had the Cobras against the Warriors. The Warriors victorious in that one by a score of 63-7. We all took the Warriors. We all picked right there. Of course, no game, no Titans Bucks game, so cancel. Titans get the win though, so it goes into their W column. And then the late game on Saturday was the Cowboys and the Bulldogs. Bulldogs winners in that one, 21-7. On Sunday, had the Broncos and the Huskies, but that game was moved due to Linden Labs deciding that they wanted to screw everything up. So that game will be moved to the end of the season to be determined later. So then at 7 p.m., we had the Patriots against the Raiders, and the Raiders stomped them 70-0. We all picked the Raiders, and we all were big winners in that one. And then the Seahawks and the Mustangs wrapped it up on Monday night. And the Seahawks big 65-0 winners in that one. Me and Tom took the Seahawks in that game. It did not, of course, count toward our score, toward our overall records. So all three of us are sitting at 42-5 on the season. So, Syke, looking back at all the scores, any specific one jump out at you? Maybe you expected it to be closer than it ended up.
Um, Nothing. I mean, I hate to say they all went. I mean, I would have liked to have seen the Mustangs and Seahawks end up a little closer, if not the other way around. But I can't. I'm the least one that can say that because I'm the guy that had to stay to watch the national championship, so I didn't even make that game. So I can't say anything about that one. So I mean, other than just I hated it for the guys that were there. Cowboys at Bulldogs, I thought that was a pretty solid win. The Cowboys actually, I think, held a little bit closer than what I would have said at 21-7. So I mean that I don't I've kind of everybody feels like you've written the Cowboys off this season. Not you in particular, just you kind of feel like in general people have written the Cowboys off. Um, but they still are most likely going to make the playoffs. So they've got some football left in front of them. But a good win for the Bulldogs as they improve now to 5-4, 2-2 in the conference. So that's a good a nice I'm sorry, 5-5. I said 5-4, but that's a good night for them. It's a good win. I know it felt good to get back on the field. After everything that they've been through the last couple of weeks. So I imagine that was kind of a nice emotional lift to get back out there on the field and get business done. So congratulations to them. And then the other games, I mean, I wasn't really shocked. I guess I could say by any of those. So no, not really, no surprises.
Yeah, really the only one to really have any discussion about is, the Bulldogs and the Cowboys game, because it's the only one ultimately that was competitive up until the end of the ball game when the Bulldogs pulled away. I know winning by 2 scores, but you know Um, I think I either commentated this game. I think I commentated this game, or I was at least at it for a little bit of time. I can't remember the weekends of a is just a whole entire blur. Um, but it was a very good ball game, all the way across the board. The Cowboys got into scoring position time and time again early in the ball game, elected to not kick field goals. That I'm gonna guess is a product of not having a kicker, because even when they lined up for extra points, they had 3 and 4 people who moved, to the kicker ball, then back to the line, then back to the kicker ball, back to the line. So I'm wondering if maybe the Cowboys right now don't have a kicker. I know Bert handled those duties. Well, when we were there, Tom did it, and then Bert did it, and now Tom and Bert are not on the Cowboys. So I don't know who's kicking, but if the Cowboys would have had a kicker, this game would have had the potential to be really, really interesting, because there's 3 field goal opportunities. You're talking about 9 points, and that makes this a tight game all the way down to the end. They were able to move the ball, down the field, especially early in the ball game against the Bulldogs. But as the game progressed on, um, they were able to pull away. Being told that the kicker missed, so then my response to that would be, you need to have two, if
Right.
because you're in scoring position, and we're talking about early in the game. Cowboys get the first drive down the field and no points, and then get a stop, and then drive back down the field, no points, and it's just time and time again. But I know, and we'll speak on this, a tremendous outpouring from, I think, the UFL community to the Bulldogs and to everyone, you know, um, who knew Ryrie. I thought that all majority of the cheerleading squads did a tribute dance. The UFL cheerleaders did a great thing. I thought, in terms of that I was really proud of our community coming together and showing the amount of love and support, because at the end of the day, we are all people, and it was great to see the humility behind the pixels actually come through this entire weekend on the field. So, anything else, Slacker? Do you want to touch on that a little bit, maybe?
No, I honestly, everything that I've said would just be repeat at this point. Other than, I can't imagine that it was probably, a pretty kind of surreal experience, I guess, for the Bulldogs to take the field, for the first time since. And I imagine it felt good to log that win. You'd have to ask them. I won't even anticipate or try to speculate as far as exactly what that felt like. But if you ever cross one of them, that'd be the first question I would ask, just to know exactly how that felt. To log that win after everything they've been through. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I would think it would just be a tremendous feeling, and you could see from the pictures that they took, and how everybody responded after that ball game was over, um, just how much it really did mean. I think to that team, and to everybody. I think to see the Bulldogs come out in that situation, and get the win there. But another game to touch on is the Seahawks and the Mustangs. We've looked at the Mustangs and Psych Hero players, so you can touch on this, and a couple of Mustangs out here in the crowd tonight. Um, Really expected something different. I mean, not really in terms of the outcome, but I didn't expect there to be a 65-point gap. Now, I'm going to completely say, um, yeah, I did not watch any of this ball game. All I'm going off of is either what I've heard, um, or the score itself. But I think the score itself speaks for itself in terms of how the game um,
yeah, I think
really
safe
went.
safe
So
to say it would have went a little different if I was there. I think, what was it, 65 to nothing. They
it would have been
probably
80
they
something
probably
to
would have hit
nothing.
80. Yeah, if I wasn't
If
there.
I,
Yeah, so
could have
um,
just thrown to you, or where you're on the line, or wherever you're playing.
right,
I don't
right.
even know.
The bench, how did
That's
they they scored on the bench. That's how bad it got. So
right.
yeah,
But
no, that I would have made zero difference in that. I don't think so. No, hats off to them, man. They're a good team. They're going to be tough to beat this year. So
oh yeah, and we have quite a few of them here with us as well. So, but I mean, overall, like I said, other than really the Bulldogs and the Cowboys, every other game, I mean, was huge wins. Warriors 63-7 over the Cobras. Cowboy, Bulldogs 21-7 Raiders 70 to nothing over the Patriots. You figure at some point, you know, the Patriots would have been able to get some sort of points on the board. But again, it was chunk it up down the field and hope for the best. And when that really starts to go against you, it allows 70-0 be the final score in these games. And we talked about it a lot. I remember commentating this one. Is that what, in terms of the Patriots, I would really like to see them expand their offense outside of just kind of chuck and duck. Which, I mean, going down to Tupac, it's a nice play. It's a pretty good trick, it's a really good trick. But it's not going to win you a lot of ball games. Because everybody can hone in on it, even as good as Tupac is. I mean, if the ball's intercepted, the chances are they're going to go down and put points on the board. Because the Raiders were able to exploit the Patriots' secondary extremely well throughout the game on their way to 70 points. But really, we'd just like to see the Patriots' offense progress from this point forward. We saw, I think Irish went in at quarterback. I could be wrong.
No,
I think
he's
that's it.
QB'd a couple times. I didn't see this one either, a whole lot of it anyway. But I mean, my diagnosis of them, it feels like they're like the Detroit Lions of a couple years ago. You've got Tupac, aka Calvin Johnson, and it's just like, can we get him another weapon or two to go with him? Because the really good teams, the upper tier teams are gonna, don't get me wrong, he's gonna get his. He's gonna get, 7, 8 catches, 250 yards, for a UFL game. But they call them 50-50s for a reason. And when he goes against an equally skilled player that's able, to catch their share on him, he might get one and move him to midfield, but the odds are the next one's going to go the other way and they get nothing for it, even though he's immensely talented. So I kind of feel like if they had one more receiver at his level, and I know they've got a couple of fresh players this year I've never seen before. Hungry Thistle, I think I don't know if it's a he or she, it's a female avatar, but she runs the ball really well. I've seen her make a couple catches, so I think if they can just continue to put the pieces around, then they have the chance of getting better, at least moving up. But I mean, the thing is, when you look at the rank, they're probably going to make the playoffs too. So I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, but they just, I don't know. To me, they sorely lack in needing a couple of other really, really upper level weapons to complement Tupac.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and you're stuck with what you have at this point. And I touched on this during the broadcast of the game. I feel that the Patriots have the talent in place to be better than they are. And it's simply, like you said, you have Tupac, and he's going to go deep down the field. Utilize that to your advantage to get other receivers open. Because when Tupac backs up, and every defense who's played against them know, okay, just look to him. So that's going to pull, what, two, maybe even three people back deep with Tupac. That leaves that complete underneath below him wide open. And they just need to have a receiver who's willing to run a comeback route, to get into the empty zone. And then Rasden or Irish, whoever's that quarterback needs to be willing to make those throws and not just simply drop back and heave it deep down the field. With what you have, just have to be willing to adapt to where you currently are. And the Patriots have that ability, like you said, they're more likely going to get into the playoffs. So right now, just start working on those little things and start building drives and focusing on that yellow line as opposed to that end zone. You get enough first downs, you're eventually going to find yourself in the end zone. But like you said, you throw two 50-50s to Tupac, chances are one of those two is going to be going back the other way. And then you completely lose. It's a nice play, and the broadcast is fun, and the commentators lose it when Tupac picks it up, makes the catch. But then the next one's going to be intercepted, and then it's all for nothing at that point. But
Yeah. And
um, I,
we say that, and a lot of times they're not really 50-50s with him. A lot of times they're like 3 or 4 on one,
yeah,
and some of the lesser secondaries they're just going to keep giving them up. But I mean, you get against a skill set that's pretty talented, and like you said, they're going to get one or two out of 3 and kill
definitely,
those drives.
definitely. But like we said, for the most part, a pretty Pretty straight across the board weekend. So we'll head right on into week 12, a full weekend of games here. A little thing of note, I'm sure that most have heard or majority have seen. On any game on a Saturday or a Sunday that the Bucks were playing, that game will be played at 6 o'clock unless something changes amongst the owners. But right now, if you were playing on a day where the Bucks were going to be playing either early or late, it's going to be at 6 o'clock. But that will also reflect in us whenever we give you the schedules as well. We will state the specific times for that. So this upcoming weekend, Friday, it all starts with the Raiders against the Cobras at 6. Then Saturday at 6, the Seahawks against the Cowboys. Sunday at 4, the Titans and the Mustangs. At 7, we'll have the Broncos and the Patriots. The Monday Night Football will be the Bulldogs against the Huskies. So it's like we have to pick a game of the week. You got Raiders, Cobras. You got Seahawks, Cowboys, Titans, Mustangs, Broncos, Patriots, Bulldogs, and Huskies. Who do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty liberal about taking shots against even if a team I'm on. But this week, I mean, I don't see a more compelling matchup than Titans Mustangs, just because I think they're one loss, or we're one loss, and they're one loss also. So it would theoretically put us in a tie at the AFC if the Mustangs were to win. Technically, we might even be in a lead because of the head-to-head. So I tend to think that's the most compelling matchup. But I mean, I ain't gonna argue with you if you want to pick something else. It's all good to me. But that's what I vote for. I shamelessly throw throw my team's game out there this week.
I think that you almost have to pick that one. I mean, I think there are going to be games that are going to be close, but in terms of marquee, big time matchup, I feel that Titans Mustangs is the one that's going to take the weekend. I think that Broncos and Patriots it's going to be a compelling matchup. Broncos looking for their first actual on the field win. Feels like the Broncos hadn't played in about 6 months. So I think like their game has been pushed back, postponed, or something to the end of the season. I think the last 2 weeks they were supposed to play. So it's been like 4 weeks.
Right.
We've actually seen the Broncos on the field. So maybe that works to their advantage. If they actually, I mean, they have a win because they did play the Bucks, and games past, present, and future that involve the Buccaneers are a win on your record. But the Broncos have yet to get a win actually on the field. So it'll be interesting to see what they get upcoming weekend. But we'll start off with our picks here in this one. The Raiders against the Cobras. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Who you got, Syke?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
All right, and we're going to give Tom the Cobras because he's not here.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna make his picks for him.
Exactly.
All right, this Saturday we got the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Syke, who you got?
That's another toughie, but I think I'm going to go with Seahawks in that one.
I believe I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well, and Tom told me he's picking the Cowboys.
All
So
right.
we're gonna move on. All right, all right. The big one of the weekend, of course, this game does not count in our overall picks because this is what we decided. But the Titans and the Mustangs, really looking forward to this matchup. I am going, just because we always put it out there, I'm gonna say the Titans. Find a way to get it done. Interested to see how you guys bounce back in terms of coming off of the Seahawks game. I feel motivation will be there in terms of getting you guys ready for this ball game. The Titans have been more consistent than the Mustangs have been to this point, and I think that they will carry the day in this one. Syke, you have anything that you want to share? Since you're going to be on the field in this one,
Nah,
and
man.
not taking a personal day.
To put it in reference, those guys are Auburn to my Alabama, so roll tide all day long. I'm picking us. We got to roll with it, baby. No, I'm going. I'm going Mustangs. I think we can do it. You got to believe.
Kiss it.
That's right.
But no, it's gonna be good. Titans they're gonna do what they do, and it's just a matter of if you can find a way to stop it. Interested to see how your offense is going to match up, especially coming out of a game with no points were scored. I look for a big game for the Mustangs to bounce back, but I think the Titans would just be too much when it's all said and done. All right, down to the Broncos and to the Patriots. I'm going to say the Broncos get their first win on the field this season, barring this game getting rescheduled like the last 3 have. But I think right now the Broncos overall more consistent, more talented team than the Patriots. I see more upside on the Broncos end than that. What do you got, Syke?
I'm gonna buck the trend here. Get that, bucking the Broncos. I'm going Patriots in this one. I don't think that they can consistently stop Tupac enough, and I think the running game attack of Hungry Thistle that was talking about earlier is going to be just enough to keep them honest to where Tupac gets enough good looks. So I'm gonna go Patriots all the way.
Yeah, I think that MW Johnson's going to have a pretty solid day. This is going to be a game where it's going to really depend upon the quarterback play. I think both of these quarterbacks play very similarly. They're going to drop back pretty far. Baldev, of course, a more dangerous runner when he decides to actually take it than Rasden is, and even Irish. So in terms of that, I think it's going to come down to the big bodies up front. Who can get more consistent pressure? Who can make their blocks? Who can keep the quarterback clean and give them the time that they need to find the receivers? We've seen the Broncos move the ball consistently over the past couple of games, but then they get bogged down and they want to heave the ball deep down the field, or Baldev gets sacked for a 45-yard loss. If they're able to eliminate that, I think they can easily walk away from the Patriots in this ball game. But it all yet remains to be seen. And then Monday night, the Bulldogs against the Huskies. I'm going to take the Bulldogs.
Look, hey, this is the only one that we've got. I think now. Let me scan the crowd. This is the only one that we've got players from both teams here. So no matter who we're picking, somebody's going to be like, "Oh, he picked against us." Well,
That's right.
sorry, Huskies, you're going 0 for 2. I'm going to say the Bulldogs in this one. I think they're in a different place right now. I think that the Huskies could win. I don't think that it would ultimately, just like, blow my mind if they did. But I like the overall top to bottom receiving core of the Bulldogs a little bit better. And I think that they're getting a little bit of better quarterback play. So I'm going to say overall, Bulldogs are going to take this one.
Yeah, I think you're looking at kind of a team that's kind of settled in where they are in the Huskies, and a team that's starting to climb their way up the ladder a little bit with some recent roster changes. As far as overall talent in the Bulldogs, I think the Bulldogs take the game. A lot of that is I've gone out on a limb with the Huskies, so Huskies who are here in the crowd right now, I think, Carrie, you're here. I'm disappointed in you because, yeah, I picked y'all, and y'all made me lose. So now I have to go against you guys. Y'all hurt my feelings. Y'all hurt my feelings. I'll call you out. I don't care. What are you going to do? Ride COC.
That's right.
Anyway.
That's right. You can't play for 3 weeks, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll see you guys next season, right?
Oh, that was so offsides. Now I feel bad.
But anyways, yeah. I think it's going to be a good ball game, though. But I think the Bulldogs just have too much right now. Finally starting to settle in and look forward to that ball game. I think it's going to be one of the better ones of the weekend, along with what we said, the Pulse game of the week, which will be the Titans and the Mustangs Sunday at 4. So to recap the upcoming week, on Friday, tomorrow night at 6, are the Raiders against the Cobras. We took the Raiders, and we'll see what Tom's picks are. We'll make sure that those get in before the games actually start. Saturday at 6, the Seahawks and the Cowboys. We took the Seahawks in that one. Titans and Mustangs Sunday at 4. That is your Pulse game of the week. I took the Titans. Like, of course, took the Mustangs because he's going to be playing.
Giddy up.
The late game on that one will be the Broncos and the Patriots. I took the Broncos, so I took the Patriots. And then we both took the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs-Huskies match up Monday at 6 p.m. SLT. So that is it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Appreciate everybody coming out. It's like you got any parting thoughts before we send everybody home happy?
No, just good to see the crowd out there this week. I might have to try and talk you into doing this thing late again.
Yeah, I think we might, we might be doing this. Incorporate a few other things as well, moving forward. Yeah, later it seems to be better in terms of everybody getting to practice and getting back. Just posting up that we're doing this show, I got more IMs, I think, and like, where are you doing it? Is it going to be streamed? Than I have the entire time that we've been doing the show
right
up to this point in the season. So later might be better, and this may be. Yeah, the SL notice was helpful. I forgot that I could do that. Learned that today. So I will be sending those out on a weekly basis as well. So, well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do our usual end show housekeeping notes. If you are interested in being a member of the UFL Media Group, media staff, if you'd like to be a commentator, definitely if you want to be a streamer, we always need those. Please contact me, Psych, anybody with a UFL tag, but we are the two men that you'll want to talk to. Tom, but he's not here, is another one you can get with as well. If you are interested in being a referee, please contact Raston. That is Raz09 Resident for him to get you set up and everything that you need there. Or you can contact me, or Syke, or Tom, and we will get you pointed in the direction that you need to go. If you want to be a photographer, contact Duchess Button. Or, as we always say, you can contact one of us. We'll point you where you need to go. Starting next week, I would like to, hadn't told you this, site, so curveball. Start incorporating some guests into the show. If you want to be a part of the Pulse, if you want to come on, be a guest picker, just shoot the crap, have a good time with us, please just hit one of us up. Let us know. We really want to start incorporating more into what we're doing here. And the three of us are up here, and that's a lot of bodies for the most part. But if you want to come and be a part and just, give your opinions on anything, please feel free to contact us at any point to become a part of the Pulse. So, with that being said, we have nothing else. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming out and spending some time with us here. We will be back Thursday. Time to be determined. It could be late, it could be early. Keep your eyes on the notices and our Facebook group, and we'll get it all to you as soon as we can. He's Syke. I'm Matt. You guys have a good night, and I'm pretty sure Syke's going to end this with a Roll Tide. I just feel it.
Well, two things. Number one, just remember, you can pick your favorite team, or you can pick the team you play for, but you can't pick the teams play for's nose. So there's that. And then Roll Tide, of course. We'll see you guys at the field this weekend. Later, y'all.